What is good? What is good, everybody? The Fit Eye Slips here with a new video finally, I guess. Today, making a video that, just like any of my other videos, it was supposed to come out like a longest time ago because the bison we're talking about today has been out for a really long time, but it's okay. So today I'm talking about the Nabalis Canyon. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna do a little, review type of thing, little comparison, I guess. Kinda, not really. You're gonna see. And so, yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing fine. I haven't been on the channel for a little bit. And yeah. Upcoming videos, I have no clue. I do want to buy the Create with Nabalis 2025. At least one Bali song, maybe all of them. I don't know. But I definitely do want to get into them, maybe make a video on them, even though I didn't make a video on the Create with Nabalis 2024, which I did by the Reverie, but I didn't make anything on it because I don't know. So, talking about the Canyon. So if you guys don't know what the Canyon is, this is the Canyon, the Bali song, a Bali song from Nabalis, and this is a fully stainless steel Bali song that came out probably almost like a year ago. I don't even know. And that's why we have the Gersha Lucha, because this is probably the most iconic full stainless steel Bali that ever existed, and that at least it was considered to be pretty decent. This is also the only knife that I bought at an actual knife shop. Yeah, not here in Cali though. But anyways, let's get into the unboxing experience. That's gonna be the first thing we're gonna look at, and it is gonna come in this little box. It's like a silver box, a little bit different than the normal one. And also your next adventure with Bali song, and I guess that's the signature of the designer. I don't know. And so the first thing we're gonna find inside the box, it's this little piece of paper, which is an actual like A4 fucking piece of paper. And basically, I'm not gonna unfold it all, but basically over here there is written the story of the Canyon. They come up with a design, what they were inspired from, why they designed this thing, and all the specs about the knife. And it's really cool because it tells you about the knife and its story a little bit. And it's definitely nothing that you find in any Bali song that you open up, especially in a Bali song of this type of price range. It's pretty cool. So there's that. On top of that, we have the microfiber pouch. There's some shit inside. The microfiber pouch, which is really nice. Just store your Bali, I guess. With the Nabalis logo too. We have the wrench tool. And I see some people be confused on Reddit on why they put in the blade over here. The reason why they do that, it's not because they want to give you a free fucking wrench, but it's because they want to camouflage the blade so that it doesn't look like a knife, and they don't have problems in custom. So they attach that to the blade and it looks like a wrench. So yeah, we do have this beautiful T10 Torx bit with a long tip, which is really good because it's magnetic. You can attach it, but also you can use it to align the bushings, washers, not the bushings, but the washers and the handle while assembling your knife back together. So really useful. We have W thread locker and fucking lube, which is probably not the best quality, but it still is really good. And of course we have the set of extra hardware. As you can see, we only have bushings, washers, screws, and pivots, which is really good. We're gonna dive into that in a little bit. And then we have, I can't take them out, but we have two stickers, one with the Nabalis logo and one with a big N on Nabalis. These are pretty nice. I have one of these in my box, like my knife case. So there's that. And that's it from the unboxing. And I mean, we're looking at something like a $50 knife, and I think it comes with a lot of good stuff, especially the lube and the thread locker. For such a price range, it's really good, because that kind of allows you to do all the maintenance you need to do to the knife and keep its longevity. Yeah, I'm smart. On top of that, I think this one came with it. I think you can add a stand for a few cents. This is like a 3D printed stand. You can see the little lines over there. And it's like a canyon, because it's the canyon. Duh. But we're going to talk about this later, because this actually will be useful for later. So we're going to put it in there in the little box like that. And now we can jump over to the knife itself and take a look at this thing, because it's really pretty. The Nabalis Canyon. I mean, the design, it's really nice. I am a fan of the dual eye blade, the one that I have. The Turner blade is pretty cool, but it's not the same to me. I think this one, it's much more beautiful. And like overall, this knife just looks really good. Like it's a really good design when it comes to the look. And I think we're going to talk about design a lot more, and it's going to be the main focus for this one. But it's really cool how they kind of took a really simple outline, because if you think about it, this is literally just a line that goes across the whole handle, and we've seen that a lot in a lot of knives. And the same thing over here, just a whole speed channel that goes all the way down. But they kind of spiced it up at the same time, because you do have the big line on the channel, but then you have this little thing, looks like a little pocket in there. We have these little lines over here. We have these little swirls that reminds of a canyon. Really nice. And then you also have, the lines that doesn't go all the way down. The bottom of the handles have this little like curve on the bottom. It is also functional, but it's also for the aesthetic. And on the side, we do have a whole speed channel, but there's a little like piece of stainless steel over there to kind of interrupt it. So it's two little different speed channels, which it does make the design a little more interesting to look at. More elements, more things to look at. Also, like over here, it doesn't like cut like that. There's a little pocket. Or also the jimpings, down here, little pocket, and then the jimpings are really rounded. That fits really well with the roundness of the bottom of the handles. So there is a lot of little things on the design, especially the handles, that have some really cool, unique style that really gives you something more to look for. Also the blade, we had those little lines over here, that's pretty nice. And the tip, which we're going to talk about later, but the blade shape, it is really elegant and slick. So I really think this design, when it comes to aesthetic, it's beautiful. It's really nice, and it's really good. Other specs for this thing, as we saw from the bag in the box, it comes with bushings and washers. So it is just a standard bushing system, which is pretty good. It only has 2 screws, which is amazing for new people, because you don't really need to worry about any other screws or parts, because there is none. Because in fact, this is also a completely pinsless design. So you can see inside the handles over there, there's no pins. And even on this side, there's no pins. Pinsless design are much more common right now, or like these days. But back then, they were really used to be some like really like fancy designs. So like more expensive knives were used to have that. And usually pinsless design were associated to either really fancy knives or just shit knives that were used to lose their handle gap really soon. But that changed, and that's really good. Also, because pinsless design means you don't need to worry about pins. There's no screwable pins. There's no fit, like press fit Zam pins or anything like that. So you don't really need to worry about maintaining them or making sure they're still in the place or making sure that they don't pop out. And also, they're not going to mess up your tolerances that much, because you don't need to tighten them up. You just got to be worried about these 2 screws up here, which also I do have to say, they finally decided to go for rounded screws, kind of more like in the American style, compared to the flat ones that they were used to have on their knives, which is a big step up. And I love that so much, because they're just so much better. And also, like, They look much more deep. They just look better and they're more durable. So that's good. Now I know what you're thinking about. It is a stainless steel knife, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of that. There's not a lot of companies, actually barely anybody, making stainless steel knives. And I do like when a company does something a little bit more different, something you don't see every day. And it's kind of crazy to think about that stainless steel, it's not really used as much. But I was really excited when this came out, especially the dual eye blade, because nobody really makes stainless steel knives anymore. Especially pinsless. Nobody really did that. But we all know about stainless steel knives and their problems, right? For instance, this is the Corsa Lucha, which is probably the most famous stainless steel knife. It was made now a while ago. I think they still sell these for like around 120. I guess that was the price, like the MSRP for these. And nowadays these would not go anywhere close to 120. But these were pretty decent, really good building quality, pretty decent feeling, kind of pinching you sometimes. But there was only one big problem that everybody knows about this, if you guys know the Corsa Lucha, which is the really fucking heavy weight of it. Consider the fact that it's stainless steel, it is much more dense, it has much more heft to it, and this one would used to go to 5 ounces, which is really heavy, especially nowadays, considering the fact that the average bison is like 4.0, 3.8, 4.2, and this is 5.0. This is a heavy piece of shit. On top of that, this one was used to, actually this one still does runs on bearings, which it is also much more different than bushings. You don't have traction on bearings. They're literally like some balls that spins. So once you start moving the fucking handles, this thing is just gonna swing at you. Oops. It's not gonna stop, which does make this knife kind of heavy to flip and weird at times. But not only that, it was used to make the light blade version of this thing really dangerous. And that's why a lot of people did not fuck with this as much. But I do like this knife a lot though, because it is unique, because it's stainless steel and it has bearings. So I do like the Corsa Lucha, but definitely do not recommend it for anybody new, because it's a fucking hefty boy. But yeah. And considering the fact that now Nabalis made this thing, which is stainless steel, just like that. It is on bushings, which is technically a little bit better. It is better. Let's just say that's better. Usually it's like preference based, but at the same time, for longevity, bushings are probably just better and just easier to deal with. The difference between those two, it's not only the system they run on, but it's other two things. Number one, this thing is 4.5 ounces. That's a big difference. And number two, this is only $50 compared to the $120. So that's a really big difference. If I had to choose between one of these, I'll definitely pick this up any day. And that's why I do enjoy the design so much. It's because it is really beautiful, but it's also extremely functional, right? Because when Nabalis made this thing, they were like, okay, we're making a stainless steel knife. Stainless steel, it's fucking hefty. It is much harder to work with compared to something like aluminum because of how heavier it is. And so they were like, okay, we gotta do a bunch of weight reduction. And I mean, they could have just put, as I said before, like a random fucking line, cut it up, and that's it. And like a normal speed channel and put some jumps and shit. But no, they decided to add some style to it, which makes it looks amazing and also makes it super functional. Super functional. For instance, the big ass line, really functional, a lot of weight reduction from that, but also add little details to make it look interesting. The side speed channels, big ass speed channel, but there's a little interaction over there, and jimpings over here, and little pockets over there, so it looks more interesting. We could just crop the fucking handles and give him no little to none handle weight because it doesn't need it. But instead, they decided to do a little rounding to add some little spice to it. See what I mean? It is really good to see because it's not only making a good flipping stainless steel body zone, but it's also making a beautiful and good flipping stainless steel body zone. And it's impressive considering the fact that this is only $50. And this is what you can get nowadays with $50. It's mind-blowing compared to what I could get back then in 2021, not even too long ago, with $50. So this is amazing. Let's talk about some other stuff like tolerances. So let's run this up. Just a heads up though, I haven't tuned this thing ever since I got it, so I have had this thing for like 4 months, maybe 5, so it has been a while. And also it's not looped at the moment, so yeah. But this is tolerances. So tolerances on these are, on this specific one, are actually pretty good. The fact that I haven't tuned this thing at all. I bring this thing outside to walks and stuff. I dropped it on concrete like 10 times or more. This thing still has pretty solid tolerances. No tap. It does wiggle, but who cares? And has a little play. But definitely out of the box, it didn't wiggle as much. It did have a little play, and it was wiggling a little bit, but not as much as right now. And also, it was pretty solid. The sound did definitely change over time, and it is a little bit dry right now. And I do have to say it also because I dropped this thing in dust, so you kind of see that it's pretty shitty. I need to clean this thing up. It kind of likes to eat some lube, and like compared to other knives that have more parts, you don't really have to lube this thing as much because again, not a lot of parts. But it does like to eat some lube, so I would say just lube it up every now and then, just to make sure that everything is like properly oiled and stuff, or lubed up and stuff. Because I don't know shit about knives, like materials and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that having a contact with stainless steel and bronze phosphor washers, it might cause more wear to them. So maybe lubing them up time to time helps out with that. So I would just consider lubing a little bit more than often. But it does keep up pretty decently when it comes to tolerances. And it is pretty decent. Also sound wise, not an amazing sound, but with lube definitely gets a lot more quieter. Definitely gets a little more bouncy. Durability when it comes to structure, this thing is stainless steel, so it fucking eats concrete. Like if you look at the handles, you do not see any scuffs on this. Maybe a little bit down there, but like barely anything. And I dropped this thing like dozens of times on concrete. The only thing that got kind of fucked, it's a blade. So it was actually surprising because when I dropped the knife like 3 times on concrete or something like that, and I literally dropped it like tip down, not on purpose, it just happened on like a standard flipping position, so like up here. I just dropped it and it fell like that for about 2 times or 3. The tip of the knife, it did not snap. That shit just bent on the side, and it was like a fucking hook. Which at the end, after like a few more drops, it just snapped. Whoa. That's the only thing, but besides that, the durability on this thing, when it comes to drops and tolerances and all that, it seems pretty fucking solid, bro. It seems really solid. Now, that motherfucker comes in play. The stand. Why do I have the stand? What does the stand mean? So, as I said before, this is a pinless design, which means that it has no pins. And pinless designs were kind of known to have problems with your handle gap over time because there's no pins. So, like, the handle gap usually closes quicker than pins, than like Bison with pins like this one. But it's not as bad. I know that this is still like stainless steel on stainless steel because end of stainless steel, blade stainless steel. So technically the wear doesn't occur as quick as like having like aluminum handles hand steel blade. But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be wear. Also, on top of that, you do need to know that when it comes to pinless design, the handle gap, especially in the beginning, it's going to close a little bit because it's a breaking process. It just happens, and it's gonna start sounding better, flipping better, and just be a different knife than when you actually buy it like that. So we're gonna use the stand right now because when I bought the stand, the knife was supposed to sit in a specific way, but then I got it, you can see that the knife doesn't sit as I was supposed to, and you can kind of see the difference between the handle gap before and after. So we're gonna take a look on that. First though, let's squeeze these fucking handles and see if they can close them up. And I kinda can, I probably could if I grab it better. Yeah, pretty much I'm making them touch, but it's pretty hard. Like you don't do that like easily like that. You need to put some strength into that. And also on the open position, same thing. You can make them close, but it's nothing like effortless. You need to put some strength in order to do that. So yeah, it's not that bad. It's not like a fucking gale or something like that. Putting the knife inside the stand. This is how it was supposed to be sitting when I first bought it. That's how it sat, and this is now. So before and after, you can see the difference. Maybe on the table, let me show you. That's before, like that, and this is after right now. It's better in opening position, but that's how it was. And this is how it is. So you can see there's a little space over there. So I think it was something like this. They lost some handle gap on this, but to be honest, after flipping it for that long, months, almost every day, because this thing has been my main carry for like 3 months straight for sure. And after flipping this thing for a while, dropping this thing in concrete in all different places, abusing this thing, sound testing over and over again, I don't really see this thing to die on you, you know, that quickly. Like the handle gap is not gonna close super quickly, then the shit is gonna start slapping anytime soon. And I'm pretty positive about that, because also like look at the blade. There's also like a speed channel over there, so the back of the blade is not gonna hit. So I have pretty positive this thing will stay solid for a pretty good while, and it will be pretty damn durable over time. So I'm not too worried about that. Flipping wise, this thing is pretty good. It is a slight handle bias. You can feel that when fanning, but it doesn't have any handle drag. So like when you fans are really clean. You can see that. It's also probably because of really long blade, which is amazing. But as you can see, this thing does not, that was not fans, but this thing does not handle drag. You kind of feel it a little bit, like the handle's pushing a little bit stronger, but it is a dead flat fan. So yeah. Also rollovers are really good because you do have a little bit more of a handle weight, and I feel like just the weight balance between blade and handles, it's really well done. So this thing just feels good flipping wise. I cannot flip. This thing just feels really good flipping wise, and I don't really have anything to complain about. I think this is a good flipper in the majority of people's hands, you know. Like I'm not a great flipper, or like I can flip but I'm not amazing. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, higher and lower level flippers can definitely fuck with this. On top of that, the fact that it has so many details on the handles and like holes and stuff, it does really help a lot with the grip. This thing is really grippy, and it also feels really smooth. So it's literally just like a 10 out of 10 fucking feeling when it comes to the handles, at least in my opinion. So I can't really talk shit about this thing at all. And that brings to my last thoughts is that this thing is actually amazing. I am a huge fan of this. It's probably one of my favorite knives I ever flipped. And the fact that this thing is $50 and it's stainless steel on bushings with pinzas design, it's mind-blowing. It's really good. I do actually and absolutely recommend this thing to anybody that wants to try it. It's really good, especially dual light blade because that's what I flip. So good job, Nabalis. I don't know if they're gonna watch this video, probably not, but if they do, really good job. Love this thing. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.